Hi, this is Phyllis Selopek. I'm reporting out week 2 of Academy e-learning cohort 4, team 10. This is Thursday, June 14th, 2012. I think we've had some really great conversations this week on accessibility, on diversity, and really great beginning discussions on student learning environments. I would really like to see this particular conversation continue. I'm not sure how you separate course redesign from where that material is being delivered. We're being asked to increase our assignments so that they're student-centered learning, and we're being asked to deliver information in innovative ways using new technology. And that can be really challenging when we're essentially boxed in to the traditional lecture formatted rooms. We can all redesign our courses. We can make sure the material is accessible. We can be sure that we're meeting the diversity in students, but if we're not delivering all that great material in an environment that's conducive to learning, I think we're failing the students. And I think that's something that we need to continue talking about on a campus-wide level. And I look forward to being involved in those conversations as we move along. It's going to be really difficult for me to go back to Holt 359, knowing that rooms like Miriam Library 444, 442 exist on this campus, and that there are many, many ways of redesigning the environment to make learning better for the students. We've been asked to address the ROI, the rubric for online instruction and accessibility, and how that's going to affect our redesign. I have seen the ROI previous to this. I can't say that I've utilized it, so it was really good that it was reintroduced this week. How I will use it is probably how it was suggested, to look at that exemplary column and, as I'm redesigning my course, ask myself, am I meeting this criteria that is outlined in the exemplary column in each of those separate rubrics? So the ROI, along with my SLOs, will be material that I have beside me as I'm redesigning this course and looking at what I'm putting into the course and what I'm taking out of the course. I think the conversations that we've had on diversity and accessibility reinforced, I think, what we already know. As faculty, we know that there's diversity in our students. It was really great to hear different ways that that diversity presents itself. And I think we know that students come with a variety of styles of learning. They come from many, many different backgrounds and experiences. And I think we all know that students come to us with individual strengths and individual challenges. And so those conversations were really good in reinforcing what we know, and so that as we're designing our courses, we're looking at that information and including that in our redesign. I don't know specifically how I will address those issues, but they are in the forefront of my brain right now. And so as I move forward in the redesign, I will be very aware of the material and how I use that and how I make that available to different students. In the nursing program, we have required physical and mental criteria, and the students sign a document stating that they've read that criteria and that they are able to do certain things. This the conversations that we've had this week have kind of raised questions for me, and how can we accommodate students that might have significant disabilities. The conversations in the nursing department have been brought up this semester because of an incident that happened with a student. Some of you may know that a beginning student, a first semester student, on her way to class was involved in a car accident. She was pregnant at the time. She delivered a very, very healthy baby boy. Unfortunately, she was paralyzed in the accident. She's now in rehab. Whether she'll ever want to re-enter the nursing program, has a desire to do that, I don't know. But it has brought up conversations in the nursing department of how do we accommodate students that might have that disability, and what does make a safe nurse. Can somebody that is paralyzed, or somebody that has a significant hearing or visual disability, can they be a safe nurse? And if so, how do we accommodate that particular student? I think in nursing, we're good at doing that upfront assessment. I am, for the most part, in semester one, so the new students coming in, and I think I'm good at doing that upfront assessment with students I've worked with DSS, now ARC, with a variety of students for a variety of learning disabilities. So I feel comfortable working with that type of student. And so now I just, this just reinforces how important it is to think about those accessibility issues when we're dealing with students. The next question was, what technology am I adding that I haven't considered before? Oh my gosh. There's been such a variety of technologies that's been introduced over the last 2 weeks. My brain is just full, and at this point, not a whole lot of it is coming out of my brain. So at this point, I'm not really sure what technology I will and will not use. And I don't think at this point I'm in a place where I can effectively evaluate what technology I want to use. I want to be sure that what I do use fits the course, fits the students that I have, fits the student learning outcomes and helps meet those, and that I have enough technology that if I'm going to use this that I have enough information and knowledge that if I'm going to use this technology, that I can help the students that may not know how to use it. Because the reality is we think a lot of students know how to use technology, and many of them do. Many of them don't. So I wouldn't feel real comfortable introducing a technology that I haven't got a good handle on myself. I do know I will use video. As I said, I previously haven't done that. My online courses have been pretty straightforward, mostly informational in the way I use it. So I will use video both in how I put material on Blackboard and how I make assignments for the students. I did go to the Kaltura video streaming, and that's being piloted on Blackboard, so I think I will probably use that. It seems like a really straightforward method of putting video on the Blackboard. So I hope to learn a little bit more about that and how I can utilize that. The students that enter the program already use iPads, or already use, iPhones, and we've considered making iPads mandatory, but because of budget and expenses and the increasing costs we have of entering the program, we haven't decided that yet, but it's an ongoing conversation. And if iPads are mandatory, that may change how I make assignments and how I utilize those iPads in classes. I wasn't able to go to the Connect Yard, but it sounds like a really great way of communicating with students in a variety of ways that they might be comfortable with. So I'd really like to know a little bit more about that application. I really like the idea of Glogster, but I was a little frustrated in the class not knowing the system. I was trying to figure out how it worked, and my computer shut down a couple times on me. So the result of that was essentially making me, again, more aware of students. How are they feeling when they're faced with new technology? How are they able to access technology? Can they afford the technology and the things that we're asking them to get? And what are technologies that are going to be cost effective or have no cost for the students? So that was a really good exercise for me, and that it really brought to mind to always keep the students learning forefront when I'm redesigning a course. The last part was what are my concerns as I move forward, and what am I excited about? And for me, I think they're combined. I am most excited about being able to be here and learning the technology that I can use for redesigning this course. I've been wanting to redesign 285 for a long time. It doesn't make sense to me to have a physical assessment course and not have any hands-on skills lab attached to it. I've made small incremental changes, but there's constraints on units, on time, on having 40 students in a class, and how do you do hands-on with 40 students. So there's been some challenges in how I want to teach the class. So I'm really excited that now I'm going to have the ability to change that class to make it what I've envisioned and what the evaluations from students have asked for. So that's what I'm excited about. On the other side of that, now that I've been given the opportunity to change that course, how am I going to do it? I have in my mind how I want it to be, but how are all those bits and pieces going to fit together? And what technology am I going to use? What technology should I not put in there? So for me, the challenge and the concern is, am I going to do this right? And if I build it, will they come? Will they learn? Will I be able to have the learning environment that's going to be conducive to learning for the students coming into the nursing program? So thank you all for sticking with me. I will see everybody in class next week, and have a great weekend. Good night.